Hi everyone, I've been away for a little while, we just had a break, had to travel north to my home counties, see family. John's mum's not very well, so we've been up there and I'm back now. So we're back now. We had a fabulous little stay in a little Airbnb, which I've put a little review on my travel site, because any of you who want to travel up, it's near Whitby, there's a lot to do up there. And this place was fabulous. In fact, I didn't want to come home. Best kitchen. Oh my God, it was a YouTube kitchen. It had this island and everything. Oh, I wanted to cook. Anyway, crack on. Okay, guys, if you hear cracking, I've just turned this on. It's warming up because I'm going to sear off my beef in a moment. So any cracking, don't worry about it, okay? And just before I forget, as I was saying, there will be a link at the end of my description to this little property. It was only a 2-bedroom property, but absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And it was not expensive. Anyway, what am I doing today? I'm doing, you'll think this is a winter dish, but I've been asked to do this. People with caravans, camper vans, etc. I've got quite a little following now. It's nice. And they've asked me if they saw my chicken pie. But a couple of the guys were unsure about doing steak pie, and they said, how would you do a steak pie? Okay, I'm going to do a steak pie today. Now, I'm going to do it in a pressure cooker. But for anyone who doesn't have a pressure cooker, you've got a slow cooker. Brilliant. You can put it in a pan on the hob and braise your steak down. That's a long way of doing it though, guys. And you could even do this, you could make it a minced beef pie if you wanted to be super quick and take your frying pan, fry off some minced beef. That would be quicker. If you don't, tailor it to the facilities you've got, okay? But today I'm doing it this way. Okay, we are doing a steak and mushroom pie, all right? And I've got here 400 grams of braising beef. Oh my God, this was 2 big chunks of braising beef. Now, braising beef and stewing steak, there's a little bit more difference. The butcher usually cuts it in bigger chunks, so you can throw it in, well, a bottle of beer, half a bottle of red wine, bung it in the oven for 2.5 hours, and you've got a great chunk of beautiful, soft stewed steak there. Stewing steak in itself, though, is often used for pies and things and stews, and it's often a little bit fattier. There's more cut-offs on it, and it can take a little bit longer. So when I saw this was so lean and so beautiful, yes, I'm using it in a pie, and it probably cost me about 75 pence more than the stewing steak. So I went for the leaner cut because I like that, okay? And then after that, we've got 4 big mushrooms chopped. We've got 1 carrot chopped, 1 stick of celery chopped, 1 medium-sized red onion and 2 cloves of garlic, because I like a bit of garlic in there. Our first job today, what we're going to do is get this steak seared, chuck it all in, turn the pressure cooker on and get that out of the way. Now, the reason I'm doing and making it super easy is I'm doing it with just a sheet of puff pastry. People in the caravans and everything, they've got little freezers that can take the puff pastry away with them, but they don't want the thing of getting flour out and everything, and I totally understand that. So we're just using a sheet of puff pastry. So when I call it a pie, it's not a real pie because it's not fully encased in pastry. It is going to be a lovely beef and mushroom, almost like a little casserole with a pastry topping. Okay, just so that everyone knows where we're going on this. Right, olive oil. I preheated this, I warmed it up so that they're braising, so that you guys weren't working. Tablespoonfuls, all you need. Right, okay, so I can tell you now that's quite hot. And just seal it off. Just going to give that a minute or 2. Someone asked me if they could use tinned steak. Yeah, why not? If it's too runny, I would say then put your steak on in a pan, your tin of steak in a pan, and if it's got a lot of sauce, try and use up a little bit of your sauce. But otherwise, just stick it in a pie dish and put a crust on of some description. As I say, we're using puff pastry. Why not? Make life easier, especially when you're living, this kitchen's small, but living in a caravan or even just travelling around in a caravan motorhome, there's often very little space to do a lot of fancy cooking, you know, so you want to make life as easy as possible. A lot of guys living on their own in flats don't want to do a lot of women living alone in flats don't want to do fancy messing around with pastries and things. Right, I'm just going to wait till that actually gets that beef a little bit more coloured. Okay guys, well, I seared the meat, that was lovely, and I've just gone ahead, I've put in the celery, the carrot, the red onion, the garlic, and my little bit of magic for this I'm using, because I'm using mushrooms in here as well, that's what's gone in as well, because it is steak and mushroom. About a teaspoonful, maybe 2 teaspoonfuls mushroom ketchup. You don't have to use that. You could, and I often do, use Leon Perrins. Love that as a backup flavour. Inside there we also put 1 Knorr Intense stock pot. Now I plopped that into 200 mils of hot water and stirred it up, and then I added half a glass of delicious red wine. Let me show you the wine. Oh my god, it was so good. No, I haven't drunk it, but it's my favourite wine. But I didn't have any other real wine that I could cook with today, and if you really want a good sauce, you want a good wine as well. Okay, so I've put all that in. That is now ready. I'm going to turn this onto pressure cooker now. Okay, and then this is going in for 45 minutes. If you were doing it in your slow cooker, you'd need 3 hours because the beef's quite small. If you're doing it on the top, you would still need a good 2 hours, and watch it in the oven 2 hours to 2.5 hours. Okay, so I'm going to put this onto pressure cooker now. Okay, let's see, slide over, check my vents in the right place, and I want it on a quick release, and I'm going for 45 minutes. 45 minutes, and away we go. Okay, and what I will say is, you may find when it's cooked in 45 minutes there's a lot of liquid. I will just be reducing that, but if you want to make a thick type of gravy in there, you can use corn flour or you can use arrowroot, although I tend to use arrowroot, it's more for a glossy glaze, but you can definitely use it as a thickener, or like I say, I'm just going for a reduction. One of my gentlemen who has a van, he asked me, could I, when I'm doing things like that, do I ever use gravy granules? I've used gravy granules. Most of the time I tend to just reduce mine down, because I'm always coming from the point of view of having a very good stock. But certainly if you've got gravy granules in and you want to pop your gravy granules in, go for it. You should be cooking to suit yourselves, okay, and you know the type of things you like, you know whether you like it thick or thin. I know I have a friend who likes her gravy like water. I think it's awful, but she loves it. So do it the way you want to, okay? Right, so this is going to be on now. I'm going to get my puff pastry out the fridge and start to prep that. All I mean by prepping it is bringing it to room temperature before I try to work with it, okay? Then when we come back, we'll be moving them into the little pie tins and putting a crust on, and then into the Ninja to bake them. Okay, see you shortly. Right guys, okay, this is finished about 3-4 minutes ago, and I've put it onto saute just to reduce it, and in actual fact I'm going to stop it now because it's reduced enough. I'm really happy with that. It tastes absolutely yummy. So all you guys out there who love a beef and mushroom pie, you're going to love this one, and girls. It's cooked beautifully, and I'm just about to pop it into my little pie tins, individual pie tins, and the bits of pastry I've just opened up the roll box, brought it to room temperature. For pudding, I've just cut little, not cut, but just indented the little square. I've done this before on YouTube for you, but today we're having pear, a little tiny bit of lemon zest, blueberries and honey with a sprinkle of brown sugar on there, and that will be superb with some fresh cream, and that makes a good pudding. And you're using up all your extra bits. I can't stand any waste. Well, that's settled down nicely now. Right. So there we've got our two little individual pie dishes done. In this one of my glass dishes, I've got what was left in there. But what I'm going to actually do with this, not today, but what I'm telling you what you could do. You could actually put mashed potato on there, make it like a shepherd's pie, only a beef steak and mushroom pie, mashed pie. Or what I'm going to do is actually do some very finely sliced potatoes, parboil them for just 5 minutes, dry them, and then layer them on there with knobs of butter, and that'll make a crispy potato, crispy topping on there, which I think will be lovely, because that's perfect for, well, one of you guys, that'll probably do one of you, but for me it would do me and John, because we'll have lots of veggies with it. Just like these little mini pies are perfect size. Anyway, let's get a top on these. By the way, folks, if you're going to freeze anything, before you put your pastry on, let your meat go cold. We're going to put these straight in the Ninja to cook. But if you were going to actually freeze it with the pastry raw, then you need that to be cold. Put your pastry on top of that, then freeze it. Everything has to be cold if you're doing that. But otherwise, seeing as we're going to cook it, we can put our pastry on here and get it in the Ninja. So I'm hoping you can see on the video that I did butter both these tins so that we don't get anything burning on in there. Okay, now I'm just gonna go around like this and then just brush it with a little bit of egg wash. You can just use milk, but if you want a nice gloss, egg wash is where it's at. And those little dots there are just to let your steam out. Okay guys, let's get these on to bake. Yes, I think we will bake. We're going to take that temperature up because we've got puff pastry here. So let's do that. And time. Let's give it 20 and see where we go from there. Match. We'll have a look in 20 minutes. Meantime, I'm just going to clean up and get ready when they come out to pop our little desserts in. See you in 20 minutes. Well, these, look at those bad boys. Oh my God, they look so, in fact, I could really just eat that right now. Okay, and they only actually took 15 minutes. So I put them on, I believe, at 190 for 15 minutes on bake. And they just look superb. Let's get them out. Right, so this is just going to be our dessert. It's just super simple. We had some pears on the table, some blueberries in the fridge. So they've just leftover pastry. So it's pastry, pears, blueberries, a little bit of honey, a little bit of brown sugar, and just a dash of lemon zest. And that will make a super duper pudding. Right, okay. And that one, again, I'm going to take high to cook the pastry. So we take it up to 190. But that's only going to need 10 minutes. Okay, I'm not cutting into these tonight, guys, because these are actually going to be our lunches tomorrow. I've done a taste test. I had to. The smell, and oh my God, the beef melts in your mouth. I'm so pleased I went for the slightly dearer cut on the beef, and it's just beautiful. And it's absolutely, I'm going to let that go cold and put my sliced potatoes on the top, wash it with a bit of melted butter, and then that will be baked probably maybe for Monday for John's lunch or something like that. But they're going to be lunch tomorrow. Okay, so because we've got other plans for dinner. Anyway, I've got a pudding in there, nice and simple, quick and easy. And like I say, if you just want to, you can do minced beef in this version, just put your pastry top on. You don't need to, and like I say, you do need, if you haven't got a hob, then you need a Ninja for your van, or any air fryer to cook your pies in. I mean, not a hob, you've got a hob, but if you haven't got a mini oven in your van, because I have been speaking to more and more people have been explaining they have these little cooking hobs and they have an air fryer, and that's how they manage. So just make it work, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hang on, my grandson's comment is like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and see you again soon. Bye for now.